What's going on, you guys? Mr. Money1235 back here yet again for another album review. Lana Del Rey, Ultraviolence. This album is such a kind of a drag, honestly. I mean, I was a huge fan of Born to Die. I was a huge fan of her last album, Born to Die, because there was, some upbeat songs, some slow songs, some songs with some violin string arrangements. Most of the songs had the same type of instrumentation. I can't really say anything about that. But the combination of slow songs and more up-tempo songs, it just made for a more interesting album. This album is just so samey in, like, the vocal delivery, and there's reverb on every single track on her vocals on this thing, and it just makes for a more in one ear, out the other type of album to me. It's one of those albums where, like, you'll start listening to it and then get distracted by something and it's just kind of playing in the background and you're just not paying any attention to it until you realize, oh yeah, that thing is on. And by the time you realize that, like, 3 tracks have went by and you didn't even know because it all just kind of sounds the same. There are only 2 big standouts on this thing for me, and that's Shades of Cool and the last song on this album, The Other Woman. Shades of Cool is still easily my favorite song on this album just because I really love the high falsetto part of this track. I really love the James Bond chords right there at the beginning. I think it's one of the more interesting, more entertaining songs on the entire record. I don't even mind that long length that she seems to be going for in a whole lot of songs on this thing. Some of the songs on this album are just way too long for their own good, especially the first song on this album, Cruel World. I really like this song, but after you repeat the chorus like 2 more times than it needed to be said, it's just... this song should have just been cut down, basically, to like a 3-minute mark. The song Ultraviolence is pretty good, too. I mean, I really like the chorus on this track, and I think it kind of glorifies... there's some kind of weird sadistic thing going on in the lyrics right here. Something about spousal abuse, I believe? I don't know, but this is a pretty good song. The song Brooklyn Baby goes on a bit too long, too, though I do really enjoy the chorus on this one, and I think it's one of the only memorable choruses on the whole album. But my boyfriend's in the band. The song West Coast I'm still not a huge fan of. I'm still really disappointed in this track. The song Sad Girl has this really obnoxious repeating chorus. Pretty When You Cry has some really good guitar parts, but once again I feel like this song goes on a bit too long, though I do enjoy the lyrics of this track a whole lot. Money, Power, Glory is a little bit forgettable, one of the skippable tracks on this album for me. And the last 3 are pretty good. Fucked My Way to the Top, Old Money, and The Other Woman. I really do enjoy the vintage sound that these tracks have going for them. But like I said before, this album is just so spotty and just slow, down-tuned. And I just feel like this album could have used an Off to the Races or a Diet Mountain Dew. Throw something in there that's a little bit more upbeat, for God's sake. You have the power, you have the talent, I know this. I mean, Off to the Races is one of the best songs on Born to Die. But like I said before, The Other Woman is definitely the other standout to me because I really like the added instrumentation along with that horn that's right there at the very end of the track, and I really like how Lana's voice kind of plays with that near the end. That's definitely a really good song along with some really good lyrics. But like I said before, this album just still kind of breezes by, in one ear, out the other, don't even really notice it. Dan Auerbach's guitar is definitely apparent on this thing since he produced a lot of it. And, I mean, that sounds good and stuff like that. But in my opinion, she could have really used like a more upbeat song on this thing because it makes this album just feel really uninteresting to me. I'm not really a huge fan of it apart from a few tracks. This is definitely an album that I'm going to be cherry-picking songs from. But those few I still will be listening to far into the future, so I gotta give props to this album for that. And I'm on the fence with it. I mean, you know, take it or leave it. I'm cool with it. I'm glad I listened to it, at the very least. I'm sure a whole lot of you guys will like this a whole lot more than I did. I'm just, not really a fan of the whole sameness of it. So, whatever. Tell me what you guys think. Mr. Money1235, I'll see you guys later.